Can a good meal make you forget the bad words? The president certainly, as Steve said, trying. Are my Fox Biz All-Stars buying? Let's ask Jonathan Hoenig and Lizzie McDonald and Nancy Skinner. Lizzie, to you first. What do you think?
Yeah, and you know, the thing is, the CEOs always forget their criticisms because they do want a seat at the table. You know, we saw that even in the run-up to the credit bubble blowing. Jamie Dimon at J.P. Morgan Chase was always meeting with the Treasury Secretary, was always shaking hands because they want to see who the head honchos down there in Washington are and who will be affecting their businesses. So it's a good strategic.
Jamie Dimon's case, yeah. You might as well set up an office in the West Wing.
What did you say, an easy pass?
Yeah,
a
just
permanent
give them
easy
like
pass?
a fast pass.
Fast pass. But, you know, I think on the other side, for the White House, is that they've been under fire for being, quote, socialists at a time when they have overseen record bailouts to Wall Street. I don't know if that's socialism. I think they've been pretty, you know, darn right-wing and Republican that way in helping Wall Street with as much taxpayer money as they can. But you know, the thing is, Neil, what we're talking, this is of a piece of what I like to call post-dramatic press disorder in Washington. They always have to do something for the Klieg-lights right now. They always have to be doing a jobs program or doing stimulus. Just let the markets be. Let it heal itself and then see what happens, see if job growth comes naturally.
Can he win back business, Jonathan? I mean, is there a sense here that the president realizes, all right, I might have overstepped it, kind of calling these guys, you know, fat cats, and they're the bane of our existence and all of that, and I've got to pull back a little bit?
Well, and Neil, the jury is out, at least among those who take these polls. I mean, you mentioned the Bloomberg poll, 77% of investors think the president is anti-business. And when you look at the president's words...
a Bloomberg poll?
A prominent poll.
Exactly,
but forget even the polls, Neil. Look at the president's words. Look at his rhetoric. The president speaks to students and he tells them, don't go to Wall Street. You know, dedicate your life to public service and charity. There are no business representatives in his cabinet, in his senior staff. And he talks about a respect for free markets at the same time advocating for more involvement in those markets. I'd like to hear the business execs Q&A him on that one.
Oh, well, for all we know, Nancy, that could be going on in the White House right now. But what do you think? Is this gathering worth it?
This is the most ungrateful lot of lubs coming to dinner, like relatives who you've helped out and loaned money, and now they're griping about it, Neil. Look, hey, you know, when the economy was on the brink and they needed it, they would have said, yes, we need the stimulus, because they didn't have customers.
Not PepsiCo, Nancy, not Xerox.
There was no consumer spending.
Not Walmart.
Yes, well, Jonathan, because the CBO today released a study.
The government lent money to PepsiCo?
Jonathan, what they did is the CBO said that the stimulus bill increased the growth GDP by 3.5 percentage points, 2.1 million jobs. That's economy-wide. That's general. It's not just Wall Street.
None of these guys got anything.
Jonathan,
none of these guys got
it.
I mean, Jamie Dimon, you could argue indirectly, maybe in the financial industry, but none of these guys had their hands out, or...
Yeah, you're talking about Walmart and PepsiCo and Xerox.
When the economy rebounded and you went from 6.5 negative
Nancy,
to the growth rate, they all did well.
I don't know if you look at we may see a revision south in the GDP, but Jonathan's right. I mean, PepsiCo and Xerox and IBM, they didn't get handouts. They didn't ask for handouts. They're not complaining. They're just showing up to a dinner, as usually is, you know, what business people do when the White House invites you.
Right.
But the issue is...
I wonder how many refuse an invite. I wonder if you're asked a number of times if I've been invited to the White House.
Well, they did refuse recently. Remember, the bank CEOs didn't show up because they claimed they were snowbound because the word on the street is they didn't want to be under fire, under criticism from the White House because the president
I'd admire those type of guys. I said, you know, you could take your invite.
Yeah, why should we fly down just to be yelled at by you?
Jonathan?
Neil, the president will appeal to their self-interest. He'll say, you know what, let me slap you around a little bit in the public. Don't worry, I've got some big spending programs. Again, I mean, the president will serve it up to them as a money-making opportunity to kind of let them be the administration's demon for a period. It certainly has helped, you know, CEOs like Jeffrey Immelt from General Electric, who are the beneficiaries of all this government largesse.
Well, so now you're saying that they did benefit. Okay, you just said they didn't. Now you said they did. You know what the president has to do is do what's good for America. And what's good for America at large is good for American corporations.
And what's good for America, Nancy, is not vilifying any individual or group, right? That's what's bad. You can't
Well, I mean,
lump them all
I think
together
that's
and
right.
call them
He
greedy,
didn't
good-for-nothing
verify-
fat cats,
That's right.
He hasn't said that.
He has
Neil.
said that.
And what he said is look we aren't going to go back and let the same mistakes happen again. We are going to regulate the financial industry so that we never have to
Nancy,
bail
he
you out
called us-
again.
He
No,
said,
that's not
wait,
verified.
he said lopsided evil charlatan. Though he was talking about Fox now. I'm sorry. I
Quote,
got that wrong.
unquote.
All right, guys, I want to get you back a little later. In the meantime, exactly what is the Japanese word for